Welcome, Daz Studio enthusiasts. This is Not From This World, and I want to thank you for joining me on my Daz Studio tutorial series. My goal is to make simple, quick tutorials that'll get you working in Daz Studio and hopefully making better renders with your knowledge. So today we are going to talk about lighting some more, and tonight I want to talk a little bit about emissive lighting. Now, emissive lighting is different than my other tutorial with spotlights because emissive lighting allows us to set up a light source within our picture. And so we can light up a lamp or a computer or even the outdoors with emissive lighting. Now, emissive lighting is actually pretty easy to get set up, and I think once you start using it, you will begin to use less and less spotlights. Emissive lights give us a more realistic look to our render. So let's look at our scene. In our scene, I've got my girl sitting on her bed in her bedroom looking at a computer. And we are going to add some emissive lighting to this scene. Now, I've got my computer, and we want light to be coming off of this computer. She is working on the computer, and we want to make sure that the computer is emitting light. We also have this lamp in the background, which we're going to light up. And then we're going to do a third emissive light in this scene where we're going to make some light coming into the room through this window with these open drapes. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to add is emissive lights to our lamp. Now, if we look at our scene as it is right now, there are no lights at all. In fact, you want to make sure that there's no lights by going to your render settings, selecting all, and then you can look here and you will see that we have our auto headlamp set to never. So you want to get that turned off. You also, if we click on environment, we also want to make sure that our environment mode is set to scene only. Now, this is going to give us absolutely no lighting in our render. And so if I run a test here with iRay, you're going to see that there's no lights whatsoever in our scene. Okay, so you can see everything is dark. All right, so let's go back to texture shaded, and we're going to add our first emissive light to this lamp. Now, this is actually really simple, and I've seen some tutorials on YouTube that make this kind of a long process. We're going to keep this short and simple so you can get rendering. So we're just going to click on the light, and if we look at the light, it has some choices here. The light's broken up into base, bulb, metal, plastic, shade, and shade edge. Make sure here that you're looking at the surface tabs. If you're in parameter, you won't see really anything. You can just move the lamp around. So we want to make sure we're in surfaces, and we're going to find these parts of the lamp. So obviously the light bulb is what's going to be glowing. So we're going to click on the bulb. And when you click on the bulb, this prop and most props are going to have a tab that says emission. So we're going to click on that emission tab. And when we click on that emission tab, we're going to see the emission color. Now, if your emission color is black, you're not going to have any light coming from that lamp. So if we click on that, we're going to open up our color, and we can choose any color that we want being emitted from that lamp. Now, we could choose white. When I think about indoor lighting, a lot of it is off-white a little bit. So I'm going to click this yellow color here, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, as soon as I change the color, we get more options for this emissive light. We have the emission temperature, which is just like our spotlight temperature. So we could move this dial and kind of change and manipulate our color. If we go lower, we get more yellows and oranges. And if we go higher, we get kind of darker blues and purples. So you can play with that. What I did here with the color kind of took care of it for what I need to do. I'm not going to worry about the two-sided light. We'll keep that on. Emission profile, we don't care about that. But the luminance is how we're going to make this brighter or darker. So right now it's set at 1500. That's the default, and it's not going to be very bright. But if I go ahead and do an iRay test, just because I made that color yellow instead of black, we should have some light emitting from this lamp. So let's check it out. Okay, so you can see that there is some light coming from the lamp, but it's definitely not enough. So I'm going to move off of this iRay, and what we're going to do is we're going to just take this 1500, and I'm going to add a couple zeros to it, and let's see what happens to our light. Alright, so now you can see our light is glowing. My number is at about 150,000 now, and I like that. I think that's a good light source now. You see it's shining on the desk, on the wall, and more importantly, it's hitting our model in the back a little bit. So you see how easy it is to turn an object that has no light into a light source. All right, sweet. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to get out of the iRay preview, and we're going to illuminate her computer next. So I'm essentially going to do this the exact same way. I'm going to click on the computer, the laptop. I'm going to make sure I go to Surfaces, and I'm going to click on the laptop, and it gives me choices of what the laptop is made out of. So the back of the laptop is black plastic, then the keys, and then our laptop screen. So we obviously want the laptop screen. If I click on that, this prop also has the emission tab. And so all I have to do is click on the emission tab, and it's got the same thing going on. So what I want to do is I want to change my color. Now for the computer, I'm going to make it white. And when I make this computer white, we're going to have the screen turn white. Now what's also really cool is I have added a picture to the screen. And adding a picture to the screen is actually very easy. You stay in the Surfaces tab, go to your emission color, click on, there's an arrow, and you'll get this menu. And I have downloaded a picture or placed a picture into my computer where, see here, I can go to browse and I get all these texture pictures that I've downloaded off the internet. And what I am adding is this picture of my girl. She's actually looking at a picture of herself. This is kind of my avatar that I use when I am publishing pictures. And so I've just double clicked on that, and it's made this picture. So I'm going to do that with my picture under emission color. And then I'm going to also, under the laptop screen, go to base. And I'm going to do the same thing to base color. So I'm going to add that avatar to base color. And then I'm going to turn this from black to white. And I really don't know if this makes a difference, but I do it anyway. I'm going to make sure my glossy color is white. And I'm going to add that same picture to the glossy color. Now that's going to give me a picture on the screen, and this is going to allow me to emit light from the computer. So if I go back to emission, you see I've got this same setup with the luminance. And so if I set this luminance higher, it defaults at 1500, but if I add a 0 like I have, and we run a render, we're going to see that the computer is lighting up as well. Okay, so you can see my computer is now lit up in the render, but it's not bright enough. I'd like it to be brighter. I want it, the light to be shining onto my girl's face and hands. So I am going to make sure I have my laptop selected. I'm going to go to my Surface tab again, and I'm going to select my screen, go to emissions, and now I'm just going to add some zeros to my luminance. So I'm going to make it 150,000. Let's check that out. So you can see as the image progresses that I now have some more light on my girl's face and hands. I think it needs another one. So let's go from 150. We're going to add another 0. Do 1.5 million lumens. Let's see what this does. Okay. Now, see, I like this. As the picture progresses here, you can see that my girl's face is illuminated really well, but we have one drawback. I liked the light coming from the computer, but look what it did to the image on the computer. It bleached it right out. So we have this bleaching of the computer screen. There's nothing we can really do about this in Daz, so we're going to leave it like it is for now, and I'm going to show you an easy way to fix this in post work. Now that we have our lamp and computer screen ready to go, there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is creating an emissive light from a primitive. And we're going to take this primitive and we're going to put it outside. And we're going to make some light coming from outside into this window that has these blinds open. Now again, this is actually really simple. We just go to a primitive. I'm going to click on the primitive, and we have some choices. I could make a plane, but I'm going to keep it as a sphere. We're going to create a sphere, and to show you what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a different camera that is kind of coming from the top here. So here's my sphere, and I'm going to move my sphere so that we can kind of see it. And I'm going to, with my sphere selected, go to surfaces. And the sphere, again, has this emission tab. So I'm going to select it. It is defaulted to black. We're going to change that. And because we're going to be outside, I'm going to use this yellow color again that I used for the lamp. And I'm going to turn that on. It's going to give me that same menu. And we're going to have this luminance that we're going to change. Now I want to take this sphere, before we mess with the lumens, let's move it outside. So I'm going to take it, and if you look, the prop I'm using for the bedroom has kind of a nice yard out in it. And so I'm going to take this sphere and I'm going to move it out by this fence, and then I'm going to raise it up. And then I'm going to go back to my original camera, go back to my test, and we're going to run a test in NVIDIA iRay to see what this looks like. Now, with my lumens set as they are on that sphere, I probably won't see anything. Yeah, okay, so you can see it looks just like it did before. So I'm going to go to the sphere, I'm going to go to surfaces and the emission, and we're just going to start adding some lumens. So I'm going to set it at, what is that, 1.5 million lumens. Let's see what we get. Okay, I think we still need another 0. 15 million lumens. All right, now I like that because we can see that there's the fence and the grass out there. And then what I really like is you can see it on the floor. So I've now created a scene with just 3 emission lights. 1 outside, 1 lamp, and 1 computer screen. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. We're going to go back to texture. I never like to start a render under iRay. Seems to, well, on my old computer, it seemed to slow things down. So now I'm ready to go, and let's render and see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my render. And we can see that we've got a nice set of lights in our picture. I really like how the light is illuminating our girl here. The lamp looks really good, and I think our yard looks really good. You see how the light is coming in through those blinders. So looks really good. I think this right here is a reflection off of something else in the room. Our only issue, if we look at our picture, our only issue is the bleaching out of our computer screen. I want to make this so I can see my picture better. So it's all washed out, it's all bleached out. Now, like I said, there's nothing we can do about this in Daz Studio. So what we're going to have to do is a little bit of post work. Now, I'm going to re-render this picture again, but I'm going to render it with my computer screen at a lower emission. So I'm going to click on my computer, go to my screen, go to emissions, and you see we had it at, what was it, 1,500,000. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's get rid of 2 zeros. Let's go down to 15,000. Let's run a test and see what it looks like. That looks pretty darn good. I like this emission. So we are going to render the picture again. And it's important when we do this that we don't move the camera or move anything else. I'm going to just re-render this entire picture, and I'll show you what we're going to do in post work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this render. It's not quite done, but it's good enough for what we want to do. So let's stop this. And once it's finished, we can look at the 2. So this is the picture that we want to keep, but remember the screen's too bright. This is our other picture, and it's got the screen that we like. Now what we're going to do is a little bit of post work, and I do post work in a program called GIMP. And GIMP is a free program that you can just download right off the internet. and it's much easier to use than something like Photoshop. The learning curve on it is a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open up my 2 pictures in GIMP. So just open with GIMP. I'm going to do the same thing with my second picture. Like I said, GIMP is a really easy program to use. And so this is the picture that I want to publish. This is the picture that has the computer screen that I like. Now in GIMP, what I want to do is I want to go to View, and I'm going to zoom in to about 200% with both of my images. What's really cool about GIMP is I can have both of these images open at the same time. I'm going to go to the image that has the screen I want, and I'm going to choose this lasso tab. And I'm actually going to lasso this computer screen. So I'm going to make connecting lines. Just clicking. I'm going to connect it. So now we kind of have this highlighted area. I'm going to go to Edit, Copy. I'm going to go to my other picture, Edit, Paste. And with my lasso selected still, I can just drag this to where it should go. And voila. So now I'm going to save it. I always save in GIMP by exporting. So just hit Export As, Export, just tell it to replace it, and then hit Export one more time. And then we've got our picture in GIMP saved. Now if I go back to my original picture, let's open this up. Now you can see I've got this nice render. The computer screen is the way I like it. I've got lights shining through from the outside. I've got my lamp on. And this is what I like. So I hope this video helped you. And go out, try your emissive lights, get them working, and I think you're going to be happy with the results. If you liked my video, just hit that like button, subscribe, and I will keep making more of these. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you next time.